Okay, this review is going to be on the Grado GH1 Golf Hotel 1, and it came in a box. The little, what they used to call a pizza box, but I think these are shaped a little bit different. Here, for example, is the box that the SR325E came in, and we see it says Grado Prestige Series 325E. Here it says Grado Prestige Series Model GH1, but whereas the SR325, if we look at it here, we can see that is Prestige Series, and if we look at the GH1, we can see that this is not the Prestige Series, it's the Heritage Series. So GH1 Heritage Series, and just consider the Prestige here to be a mistake. And inside the box, this box is the same size as that 325, except it's just kind of a bluish color. And we have the warranty statements inside the box. We have a little flyer here that tells about the GH1, the Heritage Series, the first edition, and being made out of a tree that actually grew in Brooklyn, the neighborhood in Brooklyn where Grado set up. And here is a headroom receipt where I paid $650 for this headphone from Headroom. It's a good shop, good people, great to deal with. They specialize in headphones. Alright, so we know where it came from, and we've got to look at the box. And probably the closest thing that I have to this would be the SR325E, not really the PS1000. That's a very large and very sophisticated headphone, so these would be more of the medium price range. Now the SR325 was $295, so let's say $300. This at $650. This GH1 is twice as much, a little more than that. Now, a good part of that price you have to assume is because it's a limited edition, made from a tree that grew in Brooklyn. It's going to require extra tuning because we're using a different type of wood. I think this is maple, and so on, limited edition. So that's going to account for a lot of the extra price. If there's anything else in there that merits the extra price, I'm not sure exactly what it is. You can see down inside here, these are the red drivers. If you can see that red in there, if I turn it around, maybe you can see it. These have red drivers in them too, so that signifies the newer Grado series. Probably these driver units themselves are probably, I would guess, the same, and the difference is the construction. This 325 is these pieces of aluminum, and I think this is the Grado type porous aluminum that's has a peculiar sonic property that makes the headphone sound right. I don't know if there's any wood in these 325s or not. And when we look in the inside, they look pretty similar. With this, this is quite a bit lighter. You notice when I pick up the 325 versus this GH1, it's quite a bit lighter because you don't have all that mass of aluminum there. It's all wood. It seems to be a pretty lightweight wood, I would guess. It's not as dense as walnut or some of those woods. The sonic properties are good, though. I'm surprised every time I look at this and then listen to it how well they did with it. The difference, the SR325 has the classic Grado sound, slight emphasis around 2 kilohertz, very hi-fi, and strong in the treble, and the GH1, the bass I'd say is about the same as the 325. It's a It's just a good solid bass all the way down. Some people might think it's a little bit light below 40 or 50 hertz, but these are open back headphones, so you don't get that reinforcement wave that adds a kind of a boom or thud to your bass. This would be very much hi-fi bass. Mid-range, nothing to report there. Both these are just perfect, as near as you can get. You get up to around that 2 kilohertz range. This doesn't have the emphasis the same as the SR325E. It's a little flatter there, and the overall treble, especially on the top end, is kind of warmed up. There may be something else, the wood, that adds to that warmth, and I don't really detect it in terms of frequency or emphasis or anything like that, but it is a much warmer sound, and I probably shouldn't say much warmer. It's warmer, but it's still same basic signature as the 325, but you will notice that the highs aren't as strong on the top end, and the overall sound is warmer. Good hi-fi headphone. So if you're willing to pay a little extra for that special edition tree grown in Brooklyn, then you probably won't be disappointed what you get. I certainly wasn't. The ear pads are really easy to pull off on these. There's that wooden flange around here, and you can just pull these off and pop them right back on. Just takes a few seconds. This is probably easiest headphone I've had to actually remove ear pads, so I really like that. And what else to say? It has the same gimbals as the other Grados. Cable seems to be about the same. Yeah, I'd say it's about the same. This is a newer type of cable that they're using, which supposedly has improved sonic properties. Now, unlike the early Grados, which I think always had a 1/4-inch plug, the newer series here come with a mini plug, and then they also come with a 1/4-inch adapter. Now, in some amps, like my Oppo amp here, it has a mini plug input. This is a DAC amp that works with different devices. So getting that in there flush, no problem at all. It works perfectly. But in an iPhone that's sitting inside of a case, like some of these cases like the OtterBox and so on, I actually have a different kind of case, but the same deal as the extra flange around the sleeve here is a little too big to go in there, so I got one of these little adapters. This is made by Monster, and just add that in there like that, and it gets inside of these cases. A lot of people they talk about whether you really should have an amp for these kinds of headphones. The thing about this is, unlike some of the other headphones I've had, especially like that AudioQuest Nighthawk, which changes signature pretty substantially when you go between a phone and a desktop amp. Even though the headphone is very efficient, works very loudly with a phone, changes signature quite a bit. This does not. This is going to sound pretty much the same on your desktop amp as it does on an iPhone 6 and so on. The music player can make a difference, though. Now, different desktop music players do sound different, and different amps may sound a little bit different, especially depending on what their output impedance is. So it's kind of hard to say, but I'd say in general there's not much of a signature change between running off an iPhone and running off a desktop amp with this particular headphone. It's pretty efficient and fairly low in impedance. I'm not sure what it is, even 32 maybe, probably. Another thing too is that even though these ear pads look identical to the ones that came with the 325. See how close they are? Very similar. For some odd reason, I feel a little softer, and the headphone being lighter, this proved to be considerably more comfortable than the 325. Now, I have no problem at all with the 325 for comfort because I'm used to headphones. So even something that has stronger clamping, has rougher ear pads I can get along with. But for people who might feel uncomfortable with something like a 325, this may be better, may be perfectly suitable. But it is more comfortable, lighter, so that's a real plus. A lot of pluses here with this headphone. I like it a lot, and if you're willing to spend $650 for a special edition headphone, I would say highly recommended. Really great hi-fi sound, and that's the GH1. This is the first one of their Heritage editions. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. This cord is, like I said, it's a pretty typical Grado cord. I think it's around, looks like it's about 6 feet and fairly thick. I can use this as a portable. Now it's open back, so you know, you're not going to get the isolation and that sort of thing, and you get a little bit of leakage out of here. But the cord's easy to carry. I mean, you know, you just hang this around your neck, and if you're not using it at the moment, roll up the cord and put it in your pocket. So it's very portable in that sense. I suppose it's still, you have to say it's made for home use, and it's a good home use headphone because it has a great hi-fi sound to it. So there we go. And of course, this is infinite rotation here, which is actually good because if your cables ever tend to, because it's double entry, if the cables ever tend to get twisted around or whatever, it's easy to just undo like this. You don't have to, you know, pull the cord through the center of the thing. Anyway, good amount of different head size. Go a good bit smaller than me and a good bit larger than me, so I'm about in the middle of that range. What else are we going to say about this? Not a whole lot. Just a very nice small headphone. Grado GH1. Thank you very much.